right, today we're going to work on a real simple, it's also a warm-up technique, okay? It's going to kind of understand how you can move when you're in somebody's guard without having to put your feet on the ground. Okay, there's going to come a time when you need to shrimp, you need to make a certain angle or make space, and you're not able to put your foot on the ground and do a traditional type of shrimp, okay? So if I have Curtis here, okay, I'm going to be in Curtis's full guard, and you guys can move around if you need to. So what I want to think about doing is, I'm in Curtis's full guard, okay? I don't want him to be holding down my hips or anything like that. I just want him postured up. I want him to allow my hips to move wherever I want them to, okay? So what we're going to do is when we open the guard, we want to think about using the inside of our thighs against his hips, against his ribs, against his upper thigh area, okay? And I want to use that pinch to move my hips back and forth, okay? It can be a small movement, or it can be a big movement, okay? But you notice how I'm doing the same motion as a shrimp without putting my foot on the ground. So we need to understand that we don't necessarily have to always have our feet on the ground to move. Okay, we need to use the connection of his body to the floor to help us move. Okay, so it's a real simple drill. We're just going to go back and forth, maybe like 5-6 times a piece, okay? And really focus on the connection with his ribs and how that allows you to move your hips. So I'm in my guard, I open the guard, I use the inside of my knees, and I want to do them exaggerated, okay? You can like pull it back a little bit and make them small, but for this drill, especially for the technique today, we need to make it very exaggerated. So I really want to turn and get to one hip. Okay, notice how that happens? Come back, turn the other direction. Turn the other direction. Turn the other direction. Okay? You can turn it into a smooth fluid back and forth. Just like that. Okay? But you start slow and then you build from there. Alright, let's just give it a shot. It's just a very simple warm-up drill that's going to apply for today's technique. Okay, time. Alright? Adding on a second part to that drill. Okay? So now, if I'm in Curtis in my guard, he's going to step one leg out, okay? Giving me enough room to do the drill, okay? So he's not stepping up and crowding me. He's just kind of stepping up in kind of like a knee to belly position. A little bit more out. Yes, like step your foot out. There. Okay, so I want him to give me the space right here in order to do this drill. But you can see how now if I want to shrimp to my left, I can't put my foot on the ground to do it. Okay, so this is a situation where if you were live rolling, where, hey, I'm going to have to use this understanding of his connection to the floor in order to shrimp. So here's the move now. So now I know he puts up his right leg, so I have to shrimp that way, okay? So I do that. Boom. Now I want to try to get my left instep underneath his knee joint, okay? I can do it by bringing my knee to my chest and then hooking underneath, okay? Or I can also do it because I've created this angle, I can come around the side and windshield wiper my foot around, okay? It's just keeping me a little bit closer to Curtis the whole time, okay? I'm never disconnecting myself from Curtis here. See how I've created this disconnection? Okay, that's Curtis's opportunity to maybe do like a leg drag pass and go around, okay? So instead, when I come around the front, when I come around the side door here, he doesn't have that opportunity because I've always kept some kind of connection to him. Okay, so that's the second part of the drill. Is after I've done that shrimp, I want to try to come around the side door. So I bring my heel to my butt, point my toes, windshield wiper into the knee joint, and then I curl my toes backwards. Okay, now I have a good butterfly hook here that I could use to elevate and off and sweep him. Okay, so he goes back to center. He does the other foot. Okay, you guys see what he's doing here? He's just stepping up, giving me enough space to work. Okay, don't crowd the person. So I open up my guard. Turn to my hip, bring my heel to my butt, point my toes, circle around, and then as soon as I pass that shin line, I curl my toes back and I have a good connection right here. Okay, I need to curl my toes back. If I point my toes in this spot right here, he can just step his leg out. And I've lost that. Okay? So I go back and I curl, okay, you can't pull his leg out. He has to try to come up and over my toes. Okay? Just try to pull your leg back. Yeah, there's connection right there, okay? And that's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to maintain connection. All right, so one more time. We'll go back and forth. One leg, the other leg. Back and forth. Puts his other leg up. Boom. Come back around. Other leg. Boom. Okay? Simple enough? All right, let's work. Okay, time. All right, perfect. Okay? So now we're gonna kind of start to kind of put it together into a technique, okay? So if I have Curtis here, Curtis, have your hand over here. Start towards me. So if I'm in Curtis's guard, okay? We're gonna start here in the punch block series, phase 1, okay? So if I was in Curtis's guard and I was trying to punch him, okay? His first option is to try to keep his hands close, right? To protect his face. And as I go to throw the punch, he's gonna bring his knees to his chest, causing me to crash into his arms. Okay, if you were here from some of our earlier sessions, that's our punch block series, okay? So if I'm here, I go to punch Curtis, he's gonna bring me into his guard, okay? One thing Curtis did wrong is he reached for my arms, okay? You have to keep your hands here the whole time in case that punch gets in there, okay? There's no reason for Curtis to be reaching for my arms, okay? It's just opening up his face, okay? So instead, as I go to punch, all he does is pull his, yes, you see there? You see, now I've crashed into his arms. Now he's free to start to reach up and grab my head and grab my arms, or it's going to be harder to punch him. Okay, do you guys see the difference? Okay, so that's going to be our first step. Okay, we're going to start in the full guard. Person on top is going to fake like they're going to try to smash the guy in the face. The second they see that arm pull back, you got to bring your knees to your chest and have them crash into you. Boom, right here. That's what I want. And then you're going to reach up. You're going to grab one head, pull it away from you, and then trap one arm. Okay, so I got one arm free, more or less. Okay, that's telling me he has my head on this side. That's telling me I got to put this leg up. And see how I'm kind of using it to try to drive my head into his face? That's the idea for today's technique. Okay, so you get somebody in that punch block series phase 1, they're going to step up with the same side as the head control, just so that everybody's doing it the same. Okay, there's a ton of scenarios where there's variations within, but everybody has to do it the same so we can learn, and then we can create like situations that are not cookie cutter the way this is. Okay, but this is how I like to teach. So we're here, I go to punch, he brings me in, he wraps my head, wraps my arm, and then I step up right here. Okay, this is how we're going to stop, and then we're going to apply the technique. Okay, but I want everybody to do it the same way. All right, so now if we reverse the position, now I'm on bottom. Okay, so I realize that I'm able to get punched in the face, so my hands go here. There's no reason for me to go reaching for something, okay? It just opens up my face for getting punched. So I keep my hands here, right? I'm shelled up. Okay, he goes to punch. Boom, hands come down. Now from here, I realize that, okay, he has that close distance. His punches aren't going to be effective. Now I can kind of start to let my hands away from my head, and I can grab it. Okay? So he knows that I got the head on this side, the head control on this side, so he's going to step up with that leg. He wants to think about, like, driving into me. Yeah, he wants to try to, like, smash me in this position. Yeah, that's the idea, right? Okay? Right? Notice how when he smashes, he's off-balancing himself. Naturally, he's bringing his weight forward. And that gives me the opportunity to get a nice sweep. Okay, so we're here, he's smashing into me. He can pull back a little bit just so that we can drill. Like if the guy's 100% trying to smash into you, it can be difficult to learn, but we'll just pull back a little bit. So imagine he's there. So perfect. So I open my guard, I know that this leg is up, I can feel it, right? So I'm gonna move my hips to the side, circle around, get my butterfly hook. Okay, notice the whole time I'm holding him close. I'm not creating space between my head and his. Right? I wanna keep him close here. Now, I need the underhook, so I'm going to release his head, and I'm going to shoot under his armpit. Okay? Now, what I want to do is I want to elevate my hook. Think about doing like a shot put, so I'm trying to like throw him to that door over there. Okay? So I lift the hook, I shot put with my arms, and at the last second, I want to chop this leg out with my leg, and I'm going to close the door with this elbow here. All right? So, 1, 2. And then I can end up in a nice mount position. Okay? One more time. They're pretty much simultaneous, right? As you do the shot put and the elevation hook, you chop the leg out and the arm, okay? But you do one before the other so that you can off balance that, making the chop a lot easier. Okay? So he goes, boom. I reach, I grab. He steps up. Open my guard. Get my hook. Underhook. Lift, shot put, and chop. And then I can end up in a nice solid mount position, half guard, side control, whatever ends up happening from there, no big deal. The point is I want to get that sweep and come up on top where I can work. Okay? One more time. You can try both sides. You might have a good side, you might have a bad side, that's okay. Okay, so he's here, he goes to punch, boom, crash into my shoulder, excuse me, crash into my arms. Reach and grab. He starts to stack. He wants to step up and smash me. Yes, yes, right here. Right, yeah, that's the idea, okay? Open the guard, move my hips. Get my butterfly hook, get my underhook, punch, lift, and chop. And now I'm right here in a nice mounted position where I can work. Okay? Nice and smooth, okay? And then you can create, like I said, other variations or other situations where maybe he's headlocking you, or maybe he steps up with the other leg, not the side of the head control, okay? But that's where we can start, all right? Questions? All right, let's go to the shot. Yes, timing is everything. That's what you have to develop during live.
Trying to get all the pieces together.
Yeah.
And then when you do it like this, you're trying to do it choppy when you need the momentum and the timing.
For sure. Yeah, the timing is during live rolling. Smoothness can come from drill. Okay, time. All right, perfect. So, remember, we have to understand our tabletop concept, right? We got 4 legs of a table. If we can chop out 2 of those legs, it's a lot easier to sweep somebody, okay? That's why we need the overhook and we need that chopping leg, okay? That's the 2 legs of the table that we're chopping out, and we're sweeping them that way, okay? So, now in this scenario, we're here, okay? Right? He goes to step up with the same. We're still doing the head control side, just so that everybody's the same, okay? Now I do everything correctly. I get here, right? I get my underhook, and for whatever reason, when I went to go chop this leg out, his knee was able to jump over it and put his knee on the ground. Boom. Now my second chop isn't there anymore, right? So now he still has a base that it's hard to knock him over, okay? Right? But as long as I keep this tight, and now what I'm going to do is that leg that was chopping his leg out, I'm going to try to put my toes down to the ground, point my toes down to the ground, and now I want to try to lift off the ground. I want to push off the ground with this foot, and I want to really elevate his hip. You guys see what's going on here? And then I can end up in that same type of position. Okay? So it's a little bit more of a, I don't want to say advanced way, but you have to really understand how to dig your toes into the ground and lift and elevate your hip so you can tilt his hips offline. So it's basically here, right? I got it. So it's here, right? I got him. I open my guard. I got my hook, right? I go to chop that leg out, and you know, after I chop that leg out. It didn't work. He stepped over it, so now his knee is here. So when I'm here, I turn my toes to the floor, and this is what I'm trying to do. I still have connection to his knee right here, right? So if I lift my hip off the ground, his hip is going to go higher than his other one, causing that off balance and that tilt. And then from there, I can continue that rotation all the way back to the full mount position, or whatever, side control, half guard. Okay. So I'm already here. He steps up. I open. I get here. He steps over that knee. You see it? So I drive off the floor, and I want to think about lifting my hip that way. So everything stays the same. I still have to chop with this arm, and I still have to punch with the underhook. But now I'm just lifting my hip off the ground with my original chopping leg here. And then I can end up in a nice solid mount position. Okay? You'll learn it that way, like when you're just doing like traditional grappling, where it's just a standard butterfly guard sweep, and he's on his knees, and we're just here like this. We're just rolling. Okay? You learn it like this. You come in, tip him over, and get that sweep. Okay, that's just kind of traditional grappling style, but we're doing it in a more of a self-defense scenario where we got to keep the person a lot closer to us. It'll still work in grappling, right? Sometimes you got somebody in your guard and they're just trying to smash you. They don't know as much, so they're just trying to drive into you. This will work, okay? But that's a situation where if they hop over that chopping leg, drive your toes to the floor, elevate your hip, and get that same sweep. All right, let's give it a shot.